Okay, so this is the baking portion of Poppy. She's risen for about 12 hours, and now she looks like this. She was under that clean cloth. So what I do is I go ahead and take a little bit of flour just so she doesn't stick to the board. And then I get my bowl scraper. And you can see I just kind of start going around trying to get her all the way out. And this is just sometimes a hassle to clean up. So I really try to get all of her out. And then I just kind of spread her out like this. And this will make one large loaf, or it will make two medium loaves. And so I like making the medium loaves. So I'm going to take a knife, just going to cut her in half. And then I do a little fold. I'll do the next one a little slower to get a little like bread shape. I spread it out a little bit, and then I'll just pull a corner back and just kind of fold it over. You'll see that some right here, it gets a little hard. That's okay. That just means that it got too much flour in it, maybe right there. I haven't noticed it making a big difference. And then I just fold her back over, roll her kind of like this. So these are the two loaves. Sometimes I like to just put a little flour on the top. And now she's ready to go into the oven. So there's two different ways to, you're going to score the top of the sourdough, which allows it to like off gas a little bit when it's cooking. So you can really easily do it. I find the serrated knife a little bit easier, so I'm going to do it with this. And I like 3 cuts. This is just a little history lesson. The marks that were put on the sourdough loaves, this goes way, 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 way back to when villages had one oven for the entire village. And so a family would put a mark on their bread, and then everybody would go put their bread in the oven. And then you would know which loaf was yours when it came out. So your mark gets to be your mark, whatever you want it to be. So I personally have 2 marks. I like, when I'm using my serrated knife, I just do 3. And you can see she immediately starts to expand. I don't even know if you can see like some of the bubbles that are in there. I just love that. Then my sweet husband bought me a tool that you can use to score. And so when I'm using this, it doesn't make the deep cuts like this. If I'm just going fast, I'll just do this, and it's super easy. This is, I'll do something a little fancier. So just like that, and maybe I'll just do a little vine design. Mostly it's just to let it off gas a little bit. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put her on a piece of parchment paper. Now this is, again, there's so many different sourdough recipes. This is just the way I do Poppy. I use a pizza stone because that's what I have, and lots of people will use a Dutch oven. I don't have that, so I make do with what I have. I have a pizza stone, and then to the first half of her cooking time, she kind of steams. I'm going to spray her with water, and then I put just a big silver salad bowl over her for 16 minutes. And then I pop that off halfway through, and then she just cooks the rest of the time without it. But I'm going to put her on parchment paper right now. So I have my parchment paper right now. When this recipe was first given to me, the person that gave me Poppy, that started this all, Leslie, my girlfriend and cousin, she uses rice flour on the bottom, and that's fine. It's one more thing to clean up, and I am about more efficiency. So parchment paper works great for me. And actually, if I'm making dough and baking, I'm usually baking multiple loaves at one time, and so I've started just using the same piece of parchment paper for all the loaves that I'm baking. This stone right now is hot because I had already been baking before this, so I'm just going to pick these up, and it's kind of doughy, that's good. I'm going to set them right here, and I'm going to stick them in the oven because it's hot. I'm going to get my mitts. I've adjusted all of the racks just to be able to accommodate not only the pizza stone, but if you remember, I'm going to have her steam. So I have just regular water in a spray bottle, and I give each one a little spray around the edges, and then I throw on my bowl. Again, this is making do with what I have in my kitchen. I know a lot of people like the Dutch ovens, and I don't have one, so I haven't tried that. And the medium loaves for me, the temperature is 475. You need to wait until the oven's fully preheated. Lots of times I get quick and will throw stuff in early. I don't do that with the bread. I do wait until it's fully up and running. And then she goes in there for 16 minutes. Seems like a good amount of time. If I can get it here. So she's gonna stay steaming and cooking underneath the salad bowl for 16 minutes, and then we'll be back and I'll show you what she looks like. The first 16 minutes just ended, and we're gonna go ahead and pop that silver bowl off. There's our two loaves. They're shaping up nicely. Sometimes they get connected because I put them too close, and at this stage I just kind of push them apart, but they're fine for right now. So I'm putting them back in, and we are going to set the timer for another 16 minutes. If I was doing one loaf instead of breaking it down into the two smaller loaves, I would probably put it in for 25 minutes under the steamer and maybe 20 minutes out of the steamer. It stays at 475 no matter if I'm making the small ones, like little tiny rolls or soup bowls or whatever. I just kind of adjust the temperature. And there have been times that I've opened it up and I thought they're not quite done. They're not like golden brown on the top. They seem maybe a little soft. And so it's just, again, it's kind of like winging it. That's that. We'll come back in 16 minutes. Okay, so the second 16 minutes just ended. We're going to take Poppy out, and you can see that we've got two beautiful loaves. These are ready to come out, and I am going to go ahead and take them out, and then I'm going to move them over to a bread rack where they're going to just cool. Just a little rack, and let everything cool down, turn off this, and that's Poppy.